You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on Wurd Radio. Streaming live on WurdRadio.com and the Wurd Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Michael, let my next guest in, please. Tyra Peterson, Ashida Irene. She's an author of 2 self-published books of poetry, Tears from an Unsuccessful Suicide Attempt, and Soft Taffy. They are both available for sale on Amazon.com. She's 31 years old, born and raised in Philadelphia, and has been writing poetry since 2004. Good afternoon, Ashida Irene. And she's still connecting, so let me let her connect to her audio. She said, Tears from an Unsuccessful Suicide Attempt. And she's going to break down some of the poems, and she says she'd like to also talk about current events that are going on in her life in hopes of connecting with like-minded people. She was introduced to the world of self-publishing and is currently working on a novel titled We Must War, which is taking over her entire life. Let me talk to a little bit about Tears from an Unsuccessful Suicide Attempt is a collection of dark poetry and morbid journaling written by my younger self from ages 14 through 21 years old in hopes of figuring out where my depression started. I'm still waiting for her audio to connect. We're having a problem with her connecting her audio. Can you hear? I can hear you. You're connected.
Hi.
There you go. Hi.
I'm sorry, I was in my phone. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Ashida Irene.
Hi.
How are you, sweetie pie?
Good. How are you?
I'm so good. So I am loving that you and I are having this conversation today.
Okay.
Yesterday, I watched the autobiography of Mary J. Blige and how she talked about the startling depression that she was going through and didn't know how to deal with it. And so the album, My Life, has been about, she said it was dark, it was morbid, and she said that was the album that's put her into the stratosphere because everybody else could identify with it, right? And it spoke to me about being vulnerable, and it spoke to me about staying in your most authentic place. So tell me about that first book, Tales from an Unsuccessful Suicide Attempt. How did that come about? I know.
Oh, my goodness. I was 25 years old when I decided to figure out the patterns that my mental illness was causing me. And I went into like this blue bin that I had for over maybe 10 years. And I saw all the writings that I had from when I was a teenager. And the earliest poem that I've written, I read it at 25 years old, and I was like, wow, I was dealing with this mental illness since I was a teenager. And through those poems, I figured out like there was just something that I was longing for, and that something had happened to me when I was younger. And I still don't have all the pieces to the puzzle, but at this point, when I'm 25 years old writing this book, I'm like, well, if I just collect all the poems that were just dark and talking about suicidal and being depressed, it will kind of give me a therapeutic feeling instead of just going back to writing it. Like, let me read back what my younger self wrote. And I mean, it was a revelation as I was reading it. And when I put it together, I'm just like, this is me. I get to go back in time and see myself as my younger self. And I was hurting.
Yeah.
I was hurting.
I have a lot of questions for you. And one of them is this. When did you identify that you had mental illness? Because, you know, I love that you said that, because it's been so stigmatized. And in many of our families, mental illness runs right on through, and we don't talk about it. We say, oh, that's Uncle so-and-so, or that's Auntie so-and-so. You know, we can't even say the words bipolar or, you know, manic depressive. We can't say any of those things because it makes us feel like, or we tell ourselves that it makes us feel a certain way. So how old were you when you identified as being mentally ill? How did you know, how did you hone into that, right? And the second question is this. How were you able to help others who may have been going through the same thing but didn't have a voice for it?
Okay. Well, I was diagnosed with mental illness and depression when I was 18 years old, because I did have an episode where I did try to kill myself. And I was, I had to sign myself into a mental hospital. And that's when they, you know, diagnosed me. But I was in denial. Even when they were telling me everything, I was like, whatever, this is just something that I'm going through. I'll get over it sooner or later. But I think it was, I think when I came back from West Virginia, I was in Job Corps to get my GED in a trade. And I realized, like, yeah, something's different. Like, I shouldn't be feeling this way compared to my peers. You know, there's something else happening inside of me that I can't really explain. So I was like, yeah, this is depression, this is mental illness, and I'm going to have to accept it and not be in denial. Sometimes I'm still in denial about it because that's just how I was raised. Like, you know, you have to keep moving forward and not let whatever is holding you back, you know, take you down and keep you paralyzed. Sometimes I still deal with it, but I mean, I'm owning it because I have to. It will kill me if I don't. Like, I will literally go back into that deep depression if I don't say, listen, today you're depressed. Let's do something about it. And how I'm helping people is talking about it publicly on the internet. Like, I didn't have this growing up. So when I realized that I needed to help myself, I went on Instagram and I uploaded a video of myself. I was feeling really, really, really down. My cat had just died, and I was like, I don't want to live no more. And I said it on the internet. And people that were following me was like, I felt that way too. I didn't know you were I didn't know you were feeling that way. And I was just like, that's helping me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe there's people that, well, one, they didn't know that I felt that way. And two, they feel the same way. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's have this conversation. So yeah.
I love that. I love that because, you know, I said this the other day, and I've been saying this. I've been talking about mental health for a long time because as my sons were growing up, Ashida, the youngest one especially, several of his friends committed suicide. In his school district. They were stepping in front of trains. They were all sorts of things. They were using trains as their method of operation. And I said to him, the most recent one was last year. So he's now 24. And he says, Mom, what is... And I said to him, so what can we do? He said, open your ears and close your mouths as parents and listen. So your mother noticed something and made you check yourself. And what is the relationship you have with your mother now as it applies to your mental health?
Oh my gosh, she's my rock. I don't tell her this, but she is the driving force behind everything that I do because I don't want to disappoint her. And we just recently went through a tragic experience. We lost my younger brother. And that right there let me know that I have to live for her to carry on what she wanted for me and my siblings. And when I was 18 years old and I tried to kill myself, she decided to make that choice and say, listen, you have to go to this hospital. I can't help you anymore. Like the upbringing that she had was not available to me as a nurturing person to help me through that. So I had to go and get extra help. And I think as a parent, that was crucial for her to say, I have to let go of my child and hope that someone else can help them through this trying time. So I give her all the praise, and I want to be able to make sure that she knows that I'm doing the best that I can in the way that she raised me.
If your mother is listening, and she probably is, I can tell you from a mother's heart to hers that hearing that has helped immensely. Right? When you have children and you are taking care of them and you bring them to a certain place in life, you always want them to be happy. We can't make our children be happy at all times, but what we can do is give them the tools. Your mother gave you the tool that she knew how to get you to another place. My condolences to your family for losing your younger brother. Lord have mercy. It's always something. So
always.
The books are written. How long ago were the books written?
Well, I read Tears from an Unsuccessful Suicide Attempt in 2015, and then I revised it last year because I was really motivated by my sister who's in Atlanta, and she's a writer also, and she just was like, I want to read some of your work. And I had unpublished all my stuff off of Amazon, so I was like, all right, I want to show her that I'm doing something. So I was like, you know what, let me take this seriously and edited it again, and I put it back on Amazon. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be sharing my thoughts, my heart to the world, because the world needs more love. Like, I know that's like cliche and corny, but it really does in this time. So I'm just trying to put myself into this world where I can be accepted and love will be like flowing through me.
Yeah. And the second book?
That one is completely opposite because it's a book of erotica. And I wrote that I had poems just sitting in this blue bin, and I just was like, you know what, I'm this loving person, but that's how I am. I'm two sides. I can be really into my mental illness and my depression, or I can be loving and exciting and sexual, and that's what I wrote. So those two books are polar opposites.
What advice do you have for people who are aspiring to write A, and B, who are also struggling with mental health issues?
Okay, those kind of go together for me, because when you are suffering from mental illness, it is important to document and to look at the patterns that causes things to flare up in you. When I'm going through my mental illness, I can really just say, look, there's a piece of paper or there's my phone. Let me write down how I'm feeling, even if I know that there's somebody next to me that I could probably say things to. But sometimes it feels like if you are going through your own problems, you don't want to burden someone else. So what I do is I write. I say, you know what? If somebody reads this, I'm okay with it. If they don't, I'm okay with it. At least I got it out of me. And for people who are aspiring to be an author, do it. Don't hesitate. Do it. There is no gatekeepers for this. You want to write? Please do it. There's so many tools out there for you to write, for you to just learn how to write and learn how to be an author and create your own world. Do it, because there's no gatekeepers.
All right, so read one of your poems to me and break it down and tell us what that poem meant.
Oh my goodness. And it's so hard for me reading my poems because they really, it's me. It's hard like to really explain it, but it's me, that my darkest moments. And okay, but I have one queued up. It's called Heart of Stone. The tragedy we face can't be erased, so we replace and take out the space. The memory is gone, short but now long. Once was a heart of gold, is now a heart of stone. And that poem is basically explaining how I can give myself to people and want to love people, and the trauma, you get scared to actually put yourself out there. And I want to, but my heart is like, let's stay guarded. Please don't put yourself out there, because you're going to get hurt. But that's what love is. Love is about fixing the hurt and wanting to overstep it and keep going and keep loving. So I think a lot of us are walking around with hearts of stone because we've been scarred. We've been scarred.
Loving someone takes a level of vulnerability, and it really takes compromising. And when people are traumatized from past hurts or never was taught how to love from that pure, beautiful place, it becomes very difficult. And so I've run into people who say that, men who said women told them that they were too nice. Right, that they were just too nice because they were accustomed to being treated a certain way, et cetera, et cetera. So I say this, and I wrote this on my, and you know what? I'm going to read something to you that I wrote. I can't believe that you and I are going through this, but I'm going to do it. Hold on. Give me a second. Because I write. I'm an avid writer, too. And in 6 months, I wrote 35,000 words. Like I write all the time. And so my Facebook page became the place. Yeah. No, listen, I do it all. I've been doing this, and the same poetry that you do, I used to go into different places in the Philly. They used to call me the barefoot poet. No one knew my name. I would go and read my poetry and leave. And so I just haven't done it in a while, but I continue to write, and Facebook has become the thing. So I want to read this to you. I want to make sure that I can find it. Lord have mercy. I mean, I write a lot. Let me find this for you. I must say this. Love in its deepest and purest form is not a size, a look, or how much money you have. It is something that comes when you find common ground with common values that will allow two individuals to remain who they are authentically while joining as one. No one can make you happy. That is a fallacy. You must love, accept, and embrace happiness in yourself, and that is what will attract the right mate to you. It is exhausting otherwise and makes for a miserable experience. Start choosing what your heart chooses instead of using your eyes to judge and pick apart that which may love you beyond words. What is our earthly shells would fade and get old. What is in your heart remains steadfast and will grow. Love beyond the shallow waters. Step into the deep well of vulnerability. Compromise and a feeling that will blow your natural minds. A word on today in these streets. I need to put all this stuff somewhere.
Wow.
But when I listened to you talk about that, that's what came to me yesterday, because people talk about love and they equate love with, going on these fancy vacations or, but it's about someone who sees you, every part of the core of you, no matter what is going on in your life at the time. And they're willing to compromise and love you through all of that. So your love is there, honey. We have a saying in Jamaica, every hoe of him stick a bush, which means there's somebody for everybody. It doesn't mean that there's somebody for everybody, but when that somebody comes along, be very careful that when you see them, you don't judge them by what you see on the outside or by how much money they have in their pocket or don't have in their pocket. Because when people love you and treat you well, you can build all those other things. Hear what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am. So tell us how we can find the book and what else is on the horizon for you.
Okay. I am currently writing a novel called We Must War. It's in the workings, and I can't give too much about it, but I'll just give a little bit. It's about 5 siblings given ancient powers to fight in the war against the dominant race. And I can't give you any more than that.
Sounds very Harry Potter-ish. You better go on and write. And you know what else I'm going to suggest to you? Submit some of your work to Netflix because they can turn that. That's how they do it. Netflix, HBO, Amazon Prime. I'm loving you, young folks. This is what I'm saying. You think outside the box. Submit a piece of that work and pull somebody in, and they can turn that into a movie or to a docuseries or honey, dream big. Dream big.
What I want.
I'm intrigued. I am absolutely intrigued. Oh, 5 siblings who you what now?
Given ancient powers to fight in the war against the dominant race.
Wow. Wow. Where did that idea come from?
Oh my goodness. Just watching all the activists, the Black activists since like the last 10 years and going back and listening to what our ancestors went through the diaspora and just realizing like we are the chosen people. We have so much fight in us that we can't be beaten. I mean, history has proven that. Like, we're resilient and we persevere and we're supposed to be here no matter what everyone else is saying. And that's the drive for me. Yeah.
My wish for you, my desire for you is that this 3rd novel takes you to places where you will never even imagine. And I further wish for you that when you get there and you're on the red carpet, that I am interviewing your behind. You're going to walk up and go, that's mother.
100%.
Yes. So stay grounded. Dream big dreams. Take small steps towards your big dreams, okay? Which means every day you write. Don't you stop. Even when you don't feel like writing, you're going to have to do revisions on top of revisions on top of revisions. But if you keep dreaming and writing as you dream, I guarantee you I'll see you on a red carpet winning awards one day.
Thank you so much.
You have a beautiful, beautiful soul. It seeps out of you. And so tell your mother she did an amazing job.
Yes,
right?
Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome, my sister. You're quite welcome. And also tell your mother, God bless her for everything that she has done with you to this point. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. So the names of the books again so that people can find them for you.
Tears from an Unsuccessful Suicide Attempt and Soft Taffy can be found on Amazon.com.
Soft Taffy. Lord, I might be too young for Soft Taffy. Tears from an Unsuccessful Suicide. How can people reach you if they want to talk to you?
I'm on Instagram at Ashita_Irene. Twitter, same thing. And YouTube.
Ashita_Irene?
Irene, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, man.
And my YouTube channel is Perspective Peterson, where
Wait a minute, let me write that down. Your YouTube channel is Perspective?
Peterson.
I love
Yes.
it. I love it that you have a moniker. Yes, Peterson.
Yes.
YouTube.
You can reach me there.
Ashita, I can't wait to see what God and the universe has in store for you. Keep shining, okay? It's seeping out of your aura, my sister. It's seeping out of it. And as long as you remember to stay vulnerable and think about others around you, but also guard and take care of who you are so that you'll always be mentally well, you're going to be fine. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, my sister. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, that was good. Lord, that was good. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WurdRadio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at OnWord. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.